All right. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to another episode of the Discipline Therapy Podcast. I'm your host, EL Discipline. Alongside me is Sue Sotomayor. All right, so just want to go through some stuff, but y'all are back because y'all are fiends and y'all know what that means. We're serving you your dose weekly of discipline therapy, where not everything is completely free, as we're on Patreon for a plethora of exclusive content for you to see. But what is free is judgment free, sucker free, censor free, sensitive free, and some liberty. God and the ancient ancestors are great, and that means everything else is straight. So go grab your wine, popcorn, and my favorite roll of blunt. But make sure the children are in bed. Why? Because we have that soul food and sometimes vulgar conversation. Prepare your mind to be fed like one of inhale life and exhale strife. Ladies and gentlemen, once again, you are tuned in to the Discipline Therapy Podcast.
We're
We're here.
here. And a big shout out to Joe at Center Stage Music Studio in Belmore. If you need to do any type of recording, podcasting, musical, singing, whatever you need to do, want to hit up Joe at Center Stage Music Studio. He'll have the rooms ready for you. We also have links are in the description. How to become a Patreon member and subscribe for exclusive content, bloopers, behind the scenes, EL Discipline solo lectures of discipline therapy talk, his BDSM content, erotica posts and writings by EL Discipline. His masterclass and workshops, full videos are on there. We also have some collaboration shows pertaining to more sensitive topics such as sexual abuse, rape, domestic violence, transgender, children abduction, conspiracy theories, government conspiracy theories, and much, much more with myself and Mr. EL Discipline. Once again, how to become part of our Patreon family. It's patreon.com/the Discipline Therapy Podcast. Mr. EL Discipline also has 7 published books for you guys to choose. They are available for purchase on Amazon.com, BarnesandNobles.com. We have them for electronic version as well, Kindle, Nook, all that good stuff. Also, we have our online store for merch. I have one of our shirts, Getting a Dose of
Just
Weekly
Discipline Therapy.
Discipline Therapy. So if you want that, check it out. It's on disciplinetherapy.launchcart.store/shop. And we have some new gear that hits every month. We try to get new stuff popping. We have different categories: males, females, children, um, accessories, water bottles, you name it, we got it. So go check that out. Last but not least, if you can't catch us on the YouTube channel, we're on a lot of the major listening platforms. We're on Spotify, Apple iTunes, Deezer, Castbox, Overcast, iHeartRadio, uh, Google Music, no, Amazon Music, yeah, Amazon
Mm.
Music, and many, many more. So you have an array of different ways to catch us. Now,
All right, so just this is the last masterclass question. Someone said every masterclass we have like surveys at the
mm-hmm,
end. We say I say rate it. Well, you always do the end. I
mm-hmm.
do my spiel. I talk, and then I'm like, and then you take over, and you're like, okay, raffle and all
Give
this
things
other stuff.
away.
Pick, give things away. Okay, so I guess you handed these out.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so let me see. It's very satisfied, satisfied, dissatisfied, and very dissatisfied. And then there's a rate from 1 to 5. Comment on what would you like to discuss in future workshops. Where did you hear about us? Instagram, YouTube, Patreon, TikTok, Twitter, Facebook, website. Please subscribe. And then please provide us with additional feedback or comments that you would like to share. So this individual said very satisfied, so they circled that.
Yay.
Um, here, there's a glance.
He's not lying.
And then let me see. Actually, I could post this. Maybe I'll
Oh, they
make
can
it zoom
see.
up.
Yeah,
Maybe
nice.
I'll make it zoom up so they could actually see a little bit. Let me see. They put a 5. All right, 5 being the best. Um, And then it says, what other topics would you like to discuss in the future workshop? Masculine and feminine energies, frequency, vibration. How can a woman embody her feminine? How can a man embrace his masculinity? This is hard to tell who it was because at the first sentence, I'm like, oh, this is definitely a woman.
Mm.
But then the man too, I'm like, this
Mhm.
could have been a man.
Or maybe a couple that went. And they want to know about both.
Yes, there were couples that they were. Okay. And how did you hear about us? YouTube. It says word of mouth. Please provide us with additional feedback, comments that you would like to share. I love your podcast and thank you for educating the community. Blessings on your continued success and journey.
Oh, that's
And
nice.
then, so yes, this masculine and feminine energies triggered that for this topic that we're going to talk about today. I think it's really, really good. We chose this because it's leaning into the last episode, and I think that I like that shit. Because if you watch,
I like it.
like I'm an author, I wrote 7 books, 2 pairs of not 2 pairs, but 2
books.
different book series.
Mm.
The Seduction of Discipline book series, and then the Stuck Between Two Different Worlds book series. 7 books. And then there's the middle one that is, well, it's the second one, but it's like by itself, isolated,
Mhm.
right? The Importance of Discipline, which is just a self-help motivational book. So the way I do it is I continue the story. And I kind of like to do the same thing with the podcast. So the season of the podcast, there's a theme throughout every topic, just like the author that I do. Like if I pick a topic, if I pick a title of the book, the literary content is going to match the title of the book. So the same thing that I like to do with this season, and there's a theme for every season we had, and the topics go like hand in hand.
Mm-hmm.
So I think this topic is good because it could lean more towards the double standard situation. And what is the topic?
Oh, for the gotcha. The
Yeah,
topic that we're talking about today
yeah.
is is it misogyny? I always mess up because the spelling of misogyny is very weird. But is it misogyny if the man comes in but doesn't allow his woman or wife to dress however she wants? Is it healthy or being a good man if he allows her to dress however she wants? All right. Well, you know what? I myself never had an issue with that. Did I? No. Well, when I was married, my ex-husband used to try to do like reverse psychology on me. I would be like, which one? This one or this one? Me liking one more, like let's say it was a little bit tighter, or another one that was just slightly bit looser. He'd be like, oh yeah, that one looks really great on you. The one that's a little bit looser, I'd be like, yeah, you think so? And then I would go and tell my sister or my friends, and they're like, man, no, put this one on. That one was way better. I was like, oh, dang it. But I think personally, and I think this is with growth and seeing things with my own eyes, seeing girlfriends, nieces, and my nephews, their girlfriends or whatever. I don't think that it's healthy or being a good man if and allow that is a trigger word. And I'm, aware of that, but it's not a healthy or him being a good man if he lets her just dress however she wants. Especially, and I'm talking more about younger women because I can understand a younger woman wanting to show off, especially if you work hard for your body or if you're pretty and you never know what's going on in the world. We always say food trigger, helps in deteriorate your mental health, the stuff that's in there. Maybe she likes that attention because it boosts her ego. But with that comes not knowing your surroundings, not knowing the danger that you're putting yourself in. And not only that, let's say you do dress however and you go out with your man. Now you're putting not just you in danger, but you're putting him in danger and whoever else went out with you. Because if you're going to dress however and some guy wants to come and touch you or hit on you and not be respectful, and now your man has to, step up if that's the type of man that you have, now they're getting into a tussle. And if you guys went out as a group, guess what? everybody's fighting. Because you know how I know it's happened. I
Mhm.
have been in those situations, not because of me. So I'm gonna go, and it might be, I'm sorry.
Lying probably was because of you. I'm joking.
That was an evil laugh. You heard him? That's
I'm
nice.
I'm joking. I don't know. That's
My mouth
presumptuous.
used to get me. My mouth used
That's
to get me.
presumptuous of me,
That
right?
is,
To
that's
think.
so mean. Like my mouth used to get us in trouble, but not because I was dressed a certain way. So, you know what I
Mm.
mean? But and I'm sorry for my ladies out there, power to the women and all that good stuff. But you gotta, you have to use your mind. You have to think a little bit. Don't put yourself, and not only that, but don't put everybody else in danger as well, just because you want to look like, a certain way. That's my spiel on it, and there it is.
Um. Yeah, I was gonna pull up some research on what it is, but I don't care
He said, "Meh."
because this is a situation where it's not like the last episode, it's subjective.
Yeah.
And you could say that if you if you look at men in biblical times, back in the day, we want to say whatever, traditional guys, traditional women, yeah, but it's still subjective because we're in a different world and people don't think similar like they did back in the day. Those people that thought similar were isolated. They were hippie days and stuff of that nature before our time. You know what I'm saying? Our ancestors, our, you know, great grandparents and stuff of that nature. Um, rebel.
Mm.
So, but most people thought of the same because it was like laws, and if there were not like laws that would be harmed, you know, there were laws within your circle of holding you accountable,
Mm-hmm.
shame, accountability, stuff of that nature. So, um, like you might get beat up by all the guys if you don't treat that woman right. Oh, he abused her. Oh, let's go, let's go to his crib.
Mm-hmm.
Like that was the bend back in the day. You know what I'm saying? Whereas, like I said, those scumbags, like they weren't part of that group, but they were out there, but
Mm-hmm.
they were isolated. So these group of people, like traditional men, traditional women, they stuck together. They thought similar and stuff like that. So I could say that's why I'm saying it's subjective. If people today still think that, and if it's a young person, maybe like me in their young 30s, you or younger girls, even like 25, obviously you weren't back in the day, but you are probably being, not probably, you are or was raised or are being raised by somebody who was or had their grandparents that they still instilled that, and then they're instilling it in you, and you're you know adopting that and absorbing it as well to practice it in your day-to-day life. So for them, it's no, he's not toxic. That's actually normal. You
Mm.
see, that's why it's subjective. Baby raised by a single mom, single dad, you know, doesn't like, see that,
Mm-hmm.
or they didn't see it being like growing up. So now social media is raising them, other friends are raising them, music's raising them. They're gonna say it is, even if they don't know what that word means. I've heard women say it. I heard women say, like, every time a man is saying something, or women, maybe he's too aggressive, he's misogynist. Oh yeah, 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 he's a misogynist. You ask a bunch of women out there, what does that mean? You're gonna hear crickets. Well, doesn't it mean like they don't know?
Mm.
They're parroting.
Mm-hmm.
They're just monkey see, monkey do. Parroting better,
Mm-hmm.
repeating what the others are repeating, not even knowing what they're saying. So, it's subjective. So you said what you thought subjectively. I'm going to say what I think subjectively. I don't think it's, what is it, unhealthy? If,
Is it healthy or being a good man if he allows her to dress however?
so it's unhealthy. Um, and, like I said, I'm making it subjective how I was raised, what I saw, and the reason I am stuck on this ideology is because of duh. But um I'm gonna make you aware of why I say duh. Duh is because I'm saying to myself, but I want you to understand is because I saw it successful. Duh. Like that's why I'm still doing it because it's successful. Whereas I also saw the opposite wasn't. So why would I do that? You see, so I think that people stay consistent with something when they see success behind it. So when you see, like, for example, my parents, 43 years, ups and downs, grandparents, we see stuff like that. And we aren't in there with them 24/7 to see really what success is. But maybe we think togetherness for so long is success, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then maybe we also see the dynamic like that. We don't see equality there. We see, oh yeah, my dad's a man. It's not, my dad's a woman. Wears a wig sometimes, does this, does that, like lets her run things. Like, I know he always had the last word. When I came home, my mom, some shit happened. She would say, wait for Poppy to get home. Like, I knew my dad was a man before I even know that term, man.
Mm.
You know what I'm saying? So we could put like leader behind it. Because
Mm-hmm.
she's deferring to him. Like, I mean, she's here as a kid, right? Subconscious. You're not conscious until you get older. But as a kid, you're like, well, she's here. She's my parent too. Why won't she do it? But if she's deferring to a higher authority, oh motherfucker. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Like it's damn. So I know that's a higher authority because of what now I'm being taught, even indirectly. Oh, wait for your dad to get home. Like I know. Oh shit, that's scary. Like it's you know what I'm saying? You get me, right?
Yeah, of course.
So it's like from that, I'm looking at it like, yeah, duh, it's not because this comes down to leadership. When you look at most women today who have a problem with that, they probably grew up without a father. If you think about it, and like psychology says this because when women navigate out there into the dating world, if they had a relationship with their father, they look for similar characteristics in those type of men because the dad is the first love.
Mm-hmm.
So if your dad was healthy and was overprotective, which I think is healthy. Well, there's unhealthy overprotectiveness too, but if he stated this, he saw you going to a party or whatever and was like, "Oh, go back upstairs and change into something more appropriate or whatever," or told you what it was or shamed you. "Oh, you trying to be like one of these hoochies? Hoes? I didn't raise no hoes." And he shames you and stuff. Go back step. Or you're gonna get grounded or whatever type of consequence was coming with that. You're not gonna be here no more. You might as well stay out there disowning you. Whatever it was, could be a Chinese family, Asian, whatever, Latino.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? We know this. So now the girl's gonna go back upstairs.
Cursing and crying. Hate
Yeah,
him.
just innately that alone, she don't understand it at that age. But and maybe he's not as articulate and doesn't know himself, but he knows the law. He's not explaining to her of the possible consequences or I love you and I want to protect you. That's what I'm. He's just do it because I said so.
Yeah.
My pops was like
All
that.
aggressive and rah.
My pops was like, but in a sense of like, you just think he hates you
Yeah.
because you don't understand. Oh, why does he hate me so much?
Have fun.
He doesn't let me have fun. Probably, So in what I was raised and absorbed, of course, I don't believe it's healthy for the man to do because that's kind of like him saying he's letting her do what she wants to do.
I take it as I don't even care. Just however you want. I don't care about you that much.
Well, it's the okay, yeah.
I mean, that's just
you
me.
onto something.
That's just how I
You look at it in a sense of
protection.
yes, but I'm not saying you look at it in a sense. I'm saying like they could look at it in a
general, you're
sense
saying,
of
gotcha,
yes,
gotcha.
like you were saying protection, but you look at it in a sense of okay, if I tell her to go upstairs and do this or do that, You're letting them know that there's some type of authority there, leadership. One of us gotta think right and logical and not
Mhm.
emotional. All these things are indirect. So now that makes sense of what you're saying only because of the male nature of you saying he doesn't care.
Oh, if he does let her just dress however?
Yeah. So most times when we get into relationships, if you guys are both the same age, or let's say she's older than you by a couple of years, or he's older than her by a couple of years, or maybe 5 years, most of the times you're coming in there also depending on what your status is in society. You know, financial status and stuff of that nature. Dating today, you're coming in it with equal mindset in
Mm.
every fashion. So most of the time, it's more women that give more pushback than guys, especially with boundaries. So this is all subconscious. Most people don't articulate in this type of context boundaries, my limits, I have certain rules, honor, principles. Like, I have principles. I don't date hoes. So I don't date hoes. So principles for me, in a sense, I'm not gonna feel good if you're doing home activity or looking like that.
Mm.
But it's not articulated that way. It's retained in their mindset. Remember the father, do it because I said so? There's no education behind it.
Mhm.
Could be the same thing with the boyfriend. Let's say she's lucky enough to meet, I think she's lucky, enough to meet a guy that has similar characteristics of him. So when they're in a relationship, he's saying that
Mm.
her father did. She might not be the same result. Because like this is my point here. They're entering the relationship as equal. Now she's gonna be like, you're not
Don't
my daddy.
don't tell me what to do.
Yes, I couldn't fight him.
Mhm.
I couldn't fight him. I was 15. He was
Um,
maybe 38. Maybe you pick an age. 45?
okay.
Yeah, whatever. Like maybe they had kids young.
Yeah, I
What,
pay my
20,
own bills.
28?
I could dress how I want now.
Yeah, but at that moment I couldn't fight him.
Mhm.
I need him for allowance. I need him to take me to the school. I couldn't drive to school.
Mhm.
So I had to abide by those rules. Now, what? What are you doing? You trying to tell me? Listen, I'm gonna get in a relationship with you, but I don't want the headache. That's what a lot of modern women are gonna say today. I don't want the headache. I ain't gonna have nobody try to control me, tell me what to do. All this stuff. All that stuff is lies pertaining to one or two circumstances, but the other circumstances are okay, and it's flown over their head. Like they don't mind being told what to do in bed. They ain't fighting
Mhm.
there.
That's true.
They ain't fighting there. Or they don't mind when it's like, God damn, baby, and most likely she gonna call you baby because she's looking at you as an equal. Oh, so baby, what nails? Oh, baby, where should we go eat? So in that regard, like you see how it's flying over the head.
Mhm.
In that regard, she's not gonna be looking at it as he's taking control. She's looking at it as like, oh, I'm deferring to him, like some fucking diabolical shit, like not taking accountability. Like I'm. That's not control there.
Mm.
He's not taking charge. Like it was my idea first place.
To go out, but not to
You see,
wear.
so it's like it's it's so complex, in a sense of that with, in that leadership. Because you got to understand that, you know, if, okay, because I'm not just going to talk about the women. If the man had a mother that did things for him growing up, like the feminine things. Like I'm not talking about she had a drill and she did no the feminine things. Like because innately the man is not gonna just come out and be like, yo, I know how to fold clothes well.
Mhm.
Innately, the man's not gonna come out and be like, oh yeah, I'm innately good at cooking and cleaning. Maybe he might innately come out and be like, oh, the Phillips screwdriver goes in there. It looks like a star. Let me test it out. And why is he doing that? Like nobody ever taught him, but he's like trial and error. But his ancestors, going back to his default programming. So if she did those things for him growing up to a point where he got to an age where he was able to do it by himself, he's looking at that as care. He's going to want the same thing in return. This is the point I'm getting to. So it's the same thing with the woman and the man. If your mom never served you guys, you see?
You want to know how it feels to be served.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
My mom brought me my plate. My dad sat at the head of the table. We had to all come down and eat.
Mm-hmm. That's how
Go to school. And he got fed first. Then I got served. I didn't get up to get my shit. And I didn't wash the dishes after.
I know. That's where I draw the line.
You understand what I'm saying? The women did it. The women did it. If the women were there, they did it. And that's a feminist mentality. The women did it.
I mean, it wasn't in my house, not because I didn't, it wasn't in my house.
I'm not picking on you. I'm just calling a spade a spade.
I want to say something about that. I wanted to teach them responsibility.
Okay. So, yeah. So how I was raised is like the men did the men shit. The women did the women shit. So I would get in trouble if my sister was bringing in heavy bags. If my sister was mowing the lawn. I'm giving you a perfect example.
Mm-hmm.
My sister would get in trouble if I had the broom and I was washing all the dishes. You get what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
There, other cultures is like that too.
Mm-hmm.
So, so I got served by my mom. Like, she did my laundry, shit like that, to a point where I got to be like maybe 15 or 17, started doing it myself. But she did it. What happens? Psychology. These are our first loves. My mom don't need to tell me I love you every day, but I'm looking at her actions as love.
Mm-hmm.
So what psychologically, don't you think I'm going to look for those characteristics when I go out?
Mm-hmm.
The woman, what happens? Provide and protect. So she's serving me. The woman, maybe it's you, he's providing and protecting me. So when I go out there, maybe I find an aggressive guy. I just don't know these terms. I just see his actions. He said, yo, I don't like no dudes looking at you. Like, put some on. And somebody else could be thinking, God damn, you so insecure. God damn, he's so weak. But then you could be like, oh my God, he loves me. Because my dad would have did the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, he's watching football. Comes down, yo, I'm going out with my girls or whatever. Wine tasting. All right, have fun. She about to leave the door. He goes like this, and then he turns back. Yo, hold up. Rewind. Come back real quick. Yo, what are you wearing? Oh, you like this cute little thing? I got it the other day. Yo, cleavage all outside, split booty, all that. What? You got stripper heels on? Nah, go back up there and change. You're not going out until you do. She looking at that in the carrying of her father, and based off what he's providing, she gonna abide by that. Because remember, her father was doing the same thing, but he was also providing. So it's in her, it's ingrained in her. She can't get that out. So see, she might stomp her feet, but what is she doing?
Stopping it upstairs to change.
Yeah. You see what I'm saying? Because at the end of the day, even though he's trying to be a grandpa and ruin your party and shit, she knows it's right.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe she got friends in her head. That's why she's fighting it. You see, but she can't fight what she grew up on. That's why it's a lot difficult. That's what, like, when I coach young men and they're navigating in the dating market, I tell them, if you had parents together, grew up with them, and they're still together, find similar.
Mm-hmm.
Because if you get a girl who didn't have her father, she's not going to know what it looks like to serve a man, respect a man, even authority.
Or so even know how a man thinks. Because you have a father or brother or whatever, male cousins that you hang out with, you kind of get, introduced to that world, how they think. Especially if your cousins and your uncles and your dad, you hear them, they're talking the truth amongst themselves.
Mm-hmm.
So you're going to know. But if you don't have any of that around, you're not going to know. I just want to say, I looked something up. I asked AI, should a woman dress however she wants? So the big, in and highlighted, yes, a woman should be able to dress however she wants as long as it doesn't violate any specific laws or regulations regarding public decency or safety. Then there's arguments for a woman's right to dress as she pleases. Now, I was reading this, and it's concerning, I think. And I mean, I agree with some of it, freedom of expression, 100%. You want to express yourself, do it, but do it in a way that you're going to be safe. And I'm not saying it, as a woman, I would at a point, at a time in my life, maybe I wanted that, and I wasn't in a relationship, and I wanted that type of attention. I could understand why a woman, would want to do that, but it's all about being safe. You could be the biggest bitch, have the biggest attitude, and cut people's heads off and all of that. But if you ever come across a drunk man, or um a vicious type of man, a man who has urges that he cannot control because no one ever taught him, and you're stuck alone with him, it doesn't matter how much of a bitch you can be. That man will overpower you and hurt you. So it's not about, you know, freedom of expression. Yes, express yourself however you want. But going down the list, body autonomy, this is what they have. A woman's body is her own, 100%. And she should have the right to choose what she wears without external pressure or judgment. I don't agree with that at all. Like, if you live in a bubble and you you heard about the Barbie movie that came out? It won so many awards and stuff like that for a lot of reasons. But if you live in a bubble and everything is always nice, go for it. You want to, 100%, do whatever you want. But the truth is, there are predators and there are people who don't who don't have scruples, who think that they can do whatever they want. And I'm not going to put government and now into it, but you know what I mean? There's a lot of things that can harm you. What's another one? Equality and respect. Restricting a woman's clothing choices can be seen as a form of discrimination and a denial of her autonomy. I don't know how.
So then that indirectly saying misogyny.
I don't understand, right? But I don't understand how telling her that she shouldn't. And again, I also want know that it's, and you stated it earlier in the segment, how you talk to somebody.
Yeah.
You had said, if your submissive tells you, Daddy, can you please take out the garbage? It smells now.
Last show.
Exact. Last show. It's also that. But your ego plays a big part. Nobody wants to, when your ego is, banging its chest, and you can't tell me what to do. You can't tell me how to dress. That is your ego. Put that aside. Listen. And also, the person that is telling you should be able to express themselves and say, how you said, I don't want you to dress like this because of XYZ. Because I don't know where you're going. And is there somebody there that's going to be able to protect you if something happens like this? You know what I mean? Like, you don't just shove what you think is right down somebody's throat. You want them to understand. You want them to do what you say, then help them understand it.
Those are all great points.
I hear a but.
I'm proud of you. This is the most you've talked.
Thank you.
I mean, you got your moments.
Sometimes I do.
But you seem passionate about this, so it's good. It's good. I like that. Me, I disagree because I'm gonna be technical. I do think that women can dress how they want, unless she dresses like a slut. It said women should dress how they want and not get ridiculed and judged. Yeah, I agree with that. They should, unless she dressed like a slut. Then it's null and void. She should be shamed. So because that shaming part, whether it's coming from a stranger, friend, family, whatever, is saving you possibly for what you were saying, grape, or these guys who are not mentally, healthy. They're fucking crazy, weird caveman mentality. Still don't really know how to control their sexual urges.
Right, sexual deviance.
Yeah, and but that's me thinking on a technical aspect, and when we say that not allowing her to dress how she wants doesn't mean like it
Yeah,
doesn't
that I
mean the
want to clear up.
entirety. It
Yeah.
doesn't mean the entirety. Let me give you an example so people can understand. Me, I like to date adult women. So I don't date minors. I
Yes.
like to date adult women who have their head on a swivel. So my thing is I give them a lot of freedom until like, you remember one of the shows, you want to fuck around, you find out.
Mm-hmm.
If you never fuck around, you never find out. But I guess you want to fuck around, so now you gonna find out. But if you would have never fucked around, this shit would have been so nice and smooth. You would have never found out. Only in maybe the bedroom or certain situations, you know what I'm saying? Or the beef coming out or whatever. But accountability. Um, but that's what I mean. So in regards to that, it's like you get a lot of freedom because you're like, as I'm dating these adult women, I'm just expecting them to be intelligent in regards to not intelligent, because let me reiterate. Conscious in regards to the feminine nature.
Mm-hmm.
Better way to articulate it. So she's spiritually conscious, spiritually intelligent.
Mm-hmm.
And if she is, she's going to be aware of double standards. She's going to be aware of female nature and male nature and even her own behaviors.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm like going in there watching how she moves by herself and how she dresses.
Mm-hmm.
Remember last show I was like, oh, I was attracted to I'm scrolling.
Mm-hmm.
But she got her body online though. So that's a disqualification right off the bat. But imagine if she was covered up.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I could approach her
Mm-hmm.
because maybe she does have a nice body, but I'm going to be the only one privileged to see that and engage with it. So much things I could do. So in that regard, like, you would expect them to know how to dress. That's why I'm saying, like, they should be able to do it. But if you have a woman who's oblivious, like, let's say, because I don't, like I said, I don't date them, but let's say a guy who is mature, he's beyond his years. He's wise beyond his years, went through traditionalism. He's 22 years old. And he dates a woman who's 18, which is like it's close, right? 4 years apart, right? She's 19. She's oblivious to it, but he's not. And in that regard, I say yes, pick her clothes daily. Because clearly she don't know what she's doing. She needs guidance every 2 seconds. She a little brat. She's a little, is what we would call in BDSM, which has no name, no age base. Could be a 45-year-old woman, but the mentality, she got a little girl mentality. So she a little, even though she's an adult young woman, 19. Let's say he's 19, wise beyond his years, same situation. Saw growing up, none of his grandparents, aunts, mom, whatever, even everybody was right, and he saw that. He thought that's how it should be. She's 16. She's 15, engulfed in everything toxic today. Music, television, blah, 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 propaganda, whatever. Female friends, feminist friends. And in that regard, okay, definitely. Maybe she needs a guideline. Maybe she needs that. But me, I hate micromanaging. So in regards to that, it would work. Because I know a lot of women would be like, oh, well, why should that be okay? Like, she's not a child. But the way I look at it is, if that's a 45-year-old woman saying that and she's behaving like a child, then she needs that because you are a child. You are. You're a child in a grown woman's body. Your mentality's a kid. Your actions are childish. You're an insolent child that needs reprimanding and discipline and even self-discipline, which is going to help you have self-accountability.
Clearly, they don't have that, though.
Yeah, so they're not an adult. When I approach women and I'm seeing that, you see I'm reading in depth. If she knows how to dress, I'm like, oh, she got accountability. You see what I'm doing? So the woman that's going out there that's 45 years old that's doing that, she don't. She got a mindset of an 18. Maybe she thinks she's trying to like keep those young days because she's depressing for her to feel like she's 45 or 40 or 38 and she's doing that online. So when you get with those type of women, expect to be like that because they have a child mentality. So yeah, they are the ones that should be restricted and controlled in that aspect because they're making you look crazy. They're putting you at risk. Everything that you said, even that 45-year-old woman will do.
Yeah, definitely.
Destroy the relationship.
Mm-hmm.
Let other dudes feel like, oh, I could cop a feel. Let him go to the bathroom. We at the bar. Even if you go into the bar, niggas know to respect you. You bring your girl there, they all head nod you. They all pound you up.
I just want to clarify something that because you made me think when you had started talking. My reasoning for this is strictly on like how how sexual, I guess, you are dressed. Like, don't get me wrong. If a woman wants to go and dress, in Timbs and jeans and a hoodie, do you 100%. However you want to dress, their Muslim women are covered from head to toe. That is their, part of their culture. 100%. That if that is what you do, my whole thing is for your safety because even though like you said you go to a club and if you're dressed as, a certain way, a guy, I even said it can touch you. I was at a club and this girl had on jeans and Timbs and a hoodie and the guy still came behind her and like she was playing pool, came behind her, didn't know her. And I've said this story before, like his whole hand, like wiped her whole, I'm pretty sure he felt her pussy from behind. The whole thing. And she turned around and punched him. But even that is my point for the women, watching the show. It's not because I don't think, women's rights, a woman shouldn't have rights. It's what you're fighting for. Don't fight to dress, provocatively and then get yourself into a situation that's going to cause you harm, going to cause others harm, and something that you can't get out of. That's the only thing that I want to put out there because it doesn't matter how you are dressed. If a guy really wants to grape you and hurt you, we've even seen it on the news a few months ago where this man came from behind in Brooklyn, I think it was, from behind on a woman, put her in a chokehold and pulled down her sweatpants and raped her in between two cars. So why give them extra is all I'm saying.
Well, we need more women to talk to women about what you just did and do. Because women that do that, this goes back to the last show, are oblivious to double standards. Like women that do that are unaware of female nature and male nature. Let me put you on to something. And I said this in the season 16 finale. The traditional woman, remember when we had that Dan versus? It was a double-edged sword. The upper class woman or the feminist. So which one did you choose? Upper class, intelligent, working woman or the strong, independent feminist?
Oh, that's
true. And the wrench I threw was, well, the feminist, we didn't say if she had a job. We didn't say if she was intelligent. We didn't say how old she was, if she grew up with one parent or two, how she's being raised. So it goes down to like that. Like most of these women are naive and oblivious to it. So they're ignorant, I will say. That's somebody that's not educated on something. We're all smart with one thing or something. You might be really good at cooking certain recipes and shit you put in there. No, the adobo is like this. Just sprinkle a little bit. No, sazon, this and that. This is how, los compollos made. Okay, cool. Boom, boom, boom. I do it different. But damn, that's a good tip. Tastes different too. So you might be smart in that regard. So everybody's smart in one thing maybe. But I mean like they're ignorant pertaining to male nature and female nature. The upper class woman, we was talking about this, the traditional woman is aware of her nature and male. That's why she covers up out of respect for him, because she knows instinctively, maybe because her father told her, dudes out here don't have sexual discipline. He probably didn't say it in that context, but it said, oh, they're horny dogs. Horny dogs, don't do anything, but you got to protect yourself. In that regard, summary is they can't control their urges. Most men. It's only a handful of special men who possess sexual discipline because they're aware of their sexual prowess. And when I have sex, I give it to you, good. You don't dominate me. So of course I could have sexual discipline because I'm not a slave to that. I dominate that.
More men should be like that.
You know what I'm saying?
Or learn to be that way.
So she's gonna like cover up because she's gonna be looking at it like, I'm not gonna try to tempt him out of my safety and respect for safety for me and respect for him. And also he don't disrespect me because I don't want him to see me like a hoe. Because if he does, he gonna treat me like that.
Exactly.
So I think they're oblivious to it. And that's what I'm glad you said. If they're dressing provocatively, they're not aware of male nature, which they don't believe in the urges situation. They just think they're projecting. I've heard it. I've heard women post a thirst trap and then write in the caption saying this specific thing verbatim. Yo, they should learn to keep it in their pants. They can't talk to women.
That's
nowadays.
crazy.
What's wrong with them? She's projecting because most women can keep, well, they don't have something to keep it in their pants, but most women can keep their legs closed, figuratively and literally. So a feminine woman sits down and she crosses her legs. And most women ain't sleeping with every dude. So literally and figuratively. So most women can keep their legs closed. So that's that's some type of discipline sexually, even if she is horny. So she gets in her masculine when she's a horny dog because she's doing what a natural man will do. So in regards to that, she's aware of that. So she knows that, yo, most dudes are horny dogs, even if she keeps that to herself because she learned it from her father or uncles. So when she navigates into the world, she's going to protect herself. The woman who dresses provocatively doesn't believe that. She believes men should hold themselves accountable. I don't give a fuck. Amber Rose said that. Had that whole slut walk. Oh, if she's out there naked, the man should. Like, what is she doing for the young kids? The young girls, like, they think like this too. No, they should have respect. We brought a guest on that said that. They should have respect. It's should versus could. What are the probabilities and possibilities? It's what you think should happen versus what could really happen.
In theory, I agree with it. I agree with her. Like, if a woman wants to walk around, naked, in theory, in a perfect world, in that Barbie world, a man will have control over himself. But we live in the reality, and that is not reality. A man can see a person fully clothed.
Most likely that you're wrong. And I'm gonna tell you, because you're probably only thinking in a physical control. Catcalling. Maybe he doesn't approach her or touch her or do something, but goddamn, okay, that booty looking plump, nice. He's violating her still verbally, so he can't control his urges. So she's still getting violated. So in regards to that, that's like a poor thing she said, because no matter what, because she's setting up these young girls for failure because they don't know male nature. Yeah. You're talking about guys that are like dominants in BDSM, that have principles and integrity and morals and honor. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Who not gonna grape women.
Right. Well,
you're talking about those guys, but most guys are not.
Exactly.
So they're saying, oh, it's a free-for-all. Shit, is she walking like that in New York City? Goddamn, let me chase that.
Yeah,
Let me get like, it's scary to take her in the alley. Like, you see what I'm saying? Because he's looking at a free-for-all. So, no, the woman is I don't like to say this, but woman is kind of like bait. Prey all the time. So she should always view herself like that, which the traditional woman does. She knows that I am the, lesser of the sex.
The weaker one.
Yes.
Physically also.
Physically.
Physically mostly, I think.
Yeah, so she could be smarter than the dude. Yeah, but
That's usually
physically, so I could be overpowered, raped, whatever it is. The woman who's intelligent thinks like that. That's why she dresses right. She dresses appropriate. She's intelligent. The woman that doesn't dress appropriate, and yo, this is facts. Cause you could go out there and interview them if you want, but I don't need to. But this is facts. Look at their history. They can't keep men. They're the ones that get used and abused and then dumped, filled up like a trash bag, and then taken out to the dumpster, and they ain't never seen again. Because if you
Yep.
leave the trash bag in your house, it stinks up the place.
Yep.
The objective is to fill it up and then get it the fuck out of there.
Yep.
So they're used and abused. They're the ones that got the most trauma. It's like yo, if you do your own research, you'll find what I'm saying is right. Trust me, I researched this stuff already to be talking about it. And they're the ones that have the most problems. They can't get along with male energy. Only keeping them in the friend zone type. Talking about, oh yeah, I can't vibe with women. They're jealous of me. Lies. Instead of taking accountability. I only vibe with guys. So she got a bunch of male friends. You know what I'm saying? Instead of getting female friends to embody more of her feminine energy because she's around that a lot. More.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? So in those type of statements or examples, like when you see that, like you can see that the woman has a difficult time being able to put her ego aside and have empathy to think about and put herself in the opposing gender's shoes. Because remember, she's projecting, oh, these dudes should know how to talk to women. Who cares if I posted this thirst trap? Like stop being thirsty. Like keep it in your pants. Because I would.
Well, I think, especially like now, and I can see, why to an extent, women are like you said, women. It shouldn't have to be right again in a perfect world that women have to be like, I have to make sure that I have this sweater on and this because I'm going to go out into the world and I don't know if I'm going to run into a man that is off his meds or crazy or whatever and just wants to hurt me.
Yeah.
Like a woman, women have to, when they go out jogging, I have to now etch out a path that I'm not in the dark because God forbid there's a guy hiding there. That is what women,
need to do? Because I don't know if they're doing that.
Yeah, I a lot of women I know do that. A lot of women I know when they're leaving to go to work, let's leave together. Let's not walk by myself because and it shouldn't be like that, but it is, and that there is my I understand why the women get angry and think like that, but then I really wish that they would understand. But that's not how this world is. You are gonna wind up getting hurt, especially if you're flaunting it, if you're shut and that it's a shame, but that it is what it is.
Well, that's why there's different laws in different countries.
That's another. So for the thing that I was reading, they have the considerations: context and appropriateness. While a woman has the right to dress as she chooses, it's important to consider the context of the situation. Then they have like dress codes for work and all that other stuff. Then I have public decency and safety. Clothing choices should not violate laws or regulations regarding public decency or safety. This could involve restrictions on nudity or clothing that can be considered dangerous or disruptive in certain settings. And then it has respect for others. But like, there in other countries, you can't just, so American women, those that like to show off more than normal, there are other countries you can't just go and do that. You can't just go, to
China,
Saudi Arabia and walk around in a bikini. They have, laws that you're supposed to, you even told me when wrestling had it out there. The female wrestlers had to cover up.
Yeah, before they agreed to have, when they first had their event in WWE, Saudi Arabia, there was no females at that event because of the laws. Like, women are not allowed to do this. Then they came to an agreement and they realized that, like Saudi Arabia, that event and venue, they realized that they could make a lot more money. And they came to some type of agreement and say, okay, well, will allow this if they're covered up from neck to bottom. So it was like summertime, and these women had on like long ass thermals. I'm watching the shit on pay-per-view, like, wow, they must be hot.
Unless they
Like
put the
they
AC
must
on
be,
for them.
yeah, they must be like on fire under there and shit. Yeah, like you said, unless they put it the AC. Especially during their match. Like maybe not during the whole thing, but okay, their match
For
is coming
them.
up, put the AC. Yeah, maybe that could be a situation. But yeah, you're right. It is predominantly here in the West.
Everything
And
is always here.
and what happens is most women, well, you know what? I've been in different places. So I want to like reiterate. I'm not gonna say most women. Women who are like Americanized, because there are like foreign women who live out here, but they don't fucking absorb everything in America. Like they still carry from what they learned from their country, or they're a descendant of their parents brought that and they carry that, right? So I could say like American women, or women who are Americanized, like they just forgot where they come from. Like a Latina forgot where she come from, so she white now. Like she white, straight up. Like she forgot where she came from and her family tree and stuff like that. So maybe like that's Americanized, right? So if they're Americanized, these women, and I say 100% of them now, not most, don't want to be held accountable. But when you, that's why I don't want to say most women, because you're looking at other regions and stuff. But women that are from these other countries or times, they take it with grace. They apologize. They say they're going to do better. I've experienced this real time. You know, so like I think it's an American thing for like women to not be held accountable and not like it. So when like I could say shit about themselves, yo, I'm turning this shit off. Like he had a lot of good shit to say until he started talking about me. He's a
Now they
misogynist.
talking shit about
I'm
us.
turning this shit off. And Sue's like, please don't go. And I'm like, get the fuck out of here. Go on another podcast. And Sue's like, please don't go. You know? So like that could be a situation, but it's like what you're already used to. Like, why are you putting laws that's not laws here? You're like presumptuous, like you're a weird guy. I'm not gonna abide by that because that's not a law to abide that. Maybe if that was a law for this whole country, or maybe just like let's say New York, or let's say California, like a region, then I would abide by that because I would have no choice. There'd be dire like circumstances. You know what I'm saying? Like real bad consequences that would occur for me. So even if I hate it, I want to stomp my feet, I'll do it. But what are you gonna do? No, that's not a law. The only way that is still intact is if she fears him a little bit. Because that's why she's abiding by the law. She fears of the consequence. If the boyfriend comes in weak, no. If the boyfriend comes in strong and he's a man of his word and has principles and will say, try me and this is going to happen. And she's like, I never tried him. I want to see if he's a man of his word. So I want to fuck around and find out.
Why do we do that?
So let me fuck around and find out a little bit and see what the extent
You just
of
gotta push
what
to
he
see
was saying,
how
because I want to
far.
see if he's real. He might just be lying.
Oh man. I
So
used to
she
be like
pushes
that.
the buttons and he does it. And she's like, wow. Depending on that consequence, discipline, punishment, whatever you want to say, held her accountable, all these things are like synonymous, right? Training her mind. That's what it starts with. Train her mind well, she moves better. If she's looking at it in that regard, that's what's going to keep her in her place. You see? It's so easy. So in regards of the woman coming in and saying, oh yeah, we're both equal, we make the same amount, blah, blah, blah. You're not going to tell me what to do. I'm not a little kid. You're not my father. And that man, you know, just backs off, then she will continue to rock. And if he's really strict up on this, but he doesn't want conflict, he's gonna grow resentment towards her.
Mm-hmm.
Because remember, the problem with him is he wants to avoid conflict. So he's like in his beta
Oh, the
frame.
guy who just lets. Gotcha. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because most women want to avoid conflict.
Mm-hmm.
You know, they don't want to go on it head on. It gives them anxiety. So the guy is like the woman, his mentality, because he's trying to avoid conflict. Oh, it's gonna be a big argument. I'm not
That's
gonna
also
say it.
trauma.
Like,
What kind of a woman are you dealing with,
that
buddy?
could be trauma.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She probably beats his ass.
So maybe.
I've seen that too. I've seen that in real life in front of my face.
So in that regard, that relationship now is fake. And he is growing sick, like I was saying in the last show, figuratively and literally, because maybe he is overprotective, territorial as well. So by her doing, not just dressing how she wants, whatever she wants. Like let's say she doesn't believe flirting is cheating, but he's articulated that. Like this is my boundaries. And she does it in front of him. But she thinks, I didn't open my legs to the guy. Dude, just relax. And she being disrespectful because she calling him dude now. So
But not only that,
he don't even have a nickname no more. She's tight. She's calling him dude. Dude, relax. I didn't open my legs to him. So for her, even in that regard, she's doing that. He's growing more resentment, like he's getting sick because, like you were saying, in how the dress, he's being fake there now. He's operating fake there now because his boundaries are being violated, and he has to suppress his character and tolerate what he doesn't enjoy.
Well, in that situation, she's most definitely in the wrong because if they already discussed it, if he already said this is my boundary, this is what I consider cheating, and she's gonna do it in front of him.
Yeah, it could be subconscious because she's used to that. You know what I'm saying?
Right, but she's still in the wrong. Then you're not paying attention to the conversation. You're not present in that conversation that you guys had.
Well,
and I
that's
think,
common.
Right. I think also, you had said, and this is for both, I guess, but since we're addressing the women in this topic, you can't tell me what to do. You're not my father. We're doing this 50-50. Then why then are you with him? Why are you guys together? You know what I mean?
There's a benefit there. That's why. That's the only reason why. There's a benefit for the woman.
But then that relationship is doomed from the get then. Like the purpose for getting with somebody, right, is to, and this is, I'm assuming, it's for people who have never been married before and it's their first go around, or you get to know them so that you can spend the rest of your life with this person. And if you're choosing that person to be your partner in life or whatever, then why does it matter what others think of how you're dressed? Wouldn't you want to just, please the person that you chose that you picked? Like, wouldn't that be enough?
Some women think like that. Not saying they all don't. Some women think like that. It's we're now differentiating with traditional and modern thinking. You know what I'm saying? So I think that the women that approach indirectly saying equality never saw or experienced traditional, especially with guys.
Yeah.
Like these women that dress like this, right? They never get with guys like me. And maybe they were lucky he entertained her, but I guarantee you it was short-lived. Because these bad habits are hard to break for her. Or I shouldn't say her. It's a plethora of them.
Yeah.
Like them.
That type of woman, you're saying.
That type of woman. It's hard to break that type of habit.
Yeah.
So for that woman that really doesn't like that, but is remaining there, it's a benefit significantly for her. Maybe great sex. A lot of guys are not good at that. Maybe great financial provider. I don't have much.
I could
Maybe
see.
the masculinity. Guys are pussy today. I need a man to handle me. We've heard that, right? And you gotta put me in my place. They're pussy today. And he has that no, because I said so. Like he's hood. And that's attractive to her. Maybe some people think it's toxic, but that's attractive to her. So she kind of want the street dude that treat her nice.
Right.
Subjectively, like special treatment. Like he ain't never gonna turn that up on me. But he will, because that's his character.
Yeah.
It's just that what energy you bringing. Because the moment you bring that energy from street, aggressive and some energy, you gonna find
gonna
out
need it,
because you're
yep.
fucking around.
Now you said,
No, I'm just write it down.
oh my bad.
So in that regard to that, like, you know, she wants that type of guy for that masculinity maybe she feels. Because all these other dudes just they don't pick where we're gonna go eat. They don't say no male friends. They don't say don't post your body like that. They don't say no you ain't getting that. They don't put certain rules. So that for that woman is like dominance, and she's attracted to that. You know, she's getting back into her nature. But I feel like more women will respond to that, even if they're saying like the last show is like, oh, don't tell me what to do. But then what did you say? Like,
Don't tell me what to do, but tell me where we're gonna go eat.
Yeah, situations like that, every woman will fall for that because of that character. And then it comes down to like all these aspects while they're staying, if they don't really like what he stands for.
Right. Well, you when you said that a couple of minutes prior, you said, it could be because of great sex, it could be because he's a financial provider. I could understand him being the financial provider and her just being like, yeah, well, I'm still gonna do what I want because at the end of the day, you're just paying my bills. But when it comes down to great sex, and you said that's not really out there, that woman is I think, gonna fall more in line because, like you said, great sex isn't so readily available to women. A lot of the guys nowadays, or so I've been told, they try to get their nut off. They don't try to make sure that she's taken care of. You didn't come. Well, you could finish off yourself, no? You know what I mean? So I think that if it involved great sex that she wasn't maybe used to or hadn't gotten in a while, she's gonna be like, okay, you don't want me to wear this, you got it, because she's not gonna want to ruin that.
Yeah.
Which is weird. I would expect the other way around.
Well,
you wouldn't want to ruin your money.
Well, that only depends if she has a high sex drive. See, now we gotta get subjective again. She likes sex and with her partner. That only applies if that's a factor. Now I think if he's soft and has money, she'll say that verbally. Oh, I'm still gonna do what I want.
Yeah.
She knows he's soft and just has money. But if he's dominant and has money, she might retain that. She's scared.
Yeah, she ain't gonna say it.
She ain't gonna say it.
She don't want to lose that money.
But in her mind, she's thinking, yeah, I'm gonna do whatever I want.
Mm-hmm.
And you're gonna see it with her actions.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, I do agree with you. I definitely think when it comes to money and sex, like the sex will keep her more loyal than the money.
So
even
weird,
if she doesn't have much.
That's what
I've
I'm
seen
saying.
that too.
That's
I've
so
seen that too, because people
strange.
could be like, well, yeah, it makes sense if she don't have nothing, like she gonna be. No, I've seen women don't have much and the guy don't have much and she's there.
Yeah.
And I could kind of pin a point on why. And then I've seen women too, which is crazy, because see, it's not in a woman's nature to have a lot and be with a man that has none.
Have nothing, yep.
But he's in that regard. And it's like, oh, like, where's that going? Because if it was the opposite for men, that wouldn't be the factor why I'm staying with you.
Money, you mean?
Because I believe that maybe that's like a masculine thing. Like it's not so much of a feminine thing. Like if a man, let's say Pretty Woman, the movie 1990, Richard Gere and Julia Roberts,
That was
right?
in 1990. Wow.
Maybe I'm wrong. Look it up. And and you know, she's maybe great, all this sexual talent or whatever, and he's giving her everything. Maybe that's the catalyst to keeping him there, right? But if the man is doing that to the woman, you know what I'm saying? And that's the catalyst to keeping her there. You know what I'm saying? She's kind of like getting into her feminine
Mm.
because, like, I don't believe that the sex is gonna keep a masculine guy. Like, he's feminine now because he's in his emotions.
Mm.
That makes sense for the woman to do because even if she's out there, like, highly in her masculine, doing what a man do, like, what he's doing is kind of like putting her back in her place. Like, oh, I went through a stressful day. He puts her back in her place. Balance.
Mm.
Oh my God, that was so great. You want me to cook you something to eat? Nigga, don't ever lift a finger. Like, she's out there slaving.
But now she's de-stressed.
Yeah.
That does a lot.
And you know, it's just that it's that benefit. If the man doesn't have money, he can't just get her to stick around with not being great at other things or having other things. Whereas, and this is the nature, whereas the woman could have nothing and she can look like what they would say a dime piece, gorgeous, whatever. And that is the catalyst to keeping her there. You know what I'm saying? And maybe they don't have sex like that. Maybe he knows she's cheating on him.
And
Yeah,
he
but
just
I got
keeps
a
it with
pretty
money?
girl on my arm.
Could be.
You know, so I think that you know, the misogyny is just masked into a lack of accountability. That's what I think. That's what I think because I think that if like dress how you want to be addressed. That's usually
Yes.
how it is.
Yep.
Like if like I'm a boss and I walk with a gangster lean. Like when I'm walking in the building, like people have told me, yo, he look like he owns some shit. And it's like your energy speaks prior to your speech. So, but if I'm like slouching and
Or your pants past your ass.
yeah, if I'm like soft spoken, yeah, you know, like I'm not like it doesn't like in people's brain register as anything that I should take seriously. So that's what it comes down to the woman too. So if like I'm trying to help
100%.
them to show them how guys think, they just won't tell them the truth. So it's like, damn, why my relationship's not working? And then you look what
This
she's
is why.
doing. Look at she acts. Look at her. She moves.
Yeah.
And it's like, in that regard, it's like, okay, you know, if you're navigating like that and you're dressing how like provocatively, and then you're getting men that's not respecting you because they don't see you as serious.
Yeah.
You see, because it's just innate, right? Ancestry. When we look at back in the days of how it was, we look at these women as ladies, and we could look at the definition all we want, but summarize it as serious women. Gentlemen, serious dominant guys. So when you look at a lady, in your brain, maybe you're thinking of serious woman. So when you look at a lot of modern chicks today, you're like, oh, they're not ladies. So they're not serious women. They're playtime. So why would I respect them? They're just playtime, pump and dump. They're just playtime. So I'm not going to take them seriously and I'm not going to engage in anything serious with them. You see what I'm saying? So this is like the average guy's mentality going into that, simping and pandering and faking because he wants to have fun. And it's like the man like me is going to tell the woman straight up before we even take it there. And he's probably going to give her like a lecture. before it even happens. Like, he's gonna give her a lecture. He's gonna ask her an array of questions of why she does what she does, because maybe something sparked his interest, and he's like, damn, she's bad. Let me walk up to her and talk. But he's not giving in. He's getting info.
To see
Versus,
which way to move now. Next.
yeah. So in that regard, only this man is gonna make that woman think. All the other guys don't have that woman's best interest at heart, because they're trying to, like, both of these guys are trying to get the panties, right? But one man has more sexual discipline. That's why he can approach her like a granddaddy. That sounds kind of weird, like incest.
Perverts.
Incest. But let me say it in a way like a dominant gentleman.
With authority.
Yeah, with authority. So in that regard, it's like they both want it, but he's not a slave to his desires. So that's why he's able to dissect her mind and ask all these questions of why do you do that, and shame her and hold cold accountability. Whereas the other guy, remember, they both want the panties. He's just going in there like with the mentality like that dude, the other guy, but is not going to articulate it.
Mm-hmm.
Because he wants that faster, and he knows that if he does, that's gonna be his, that like yo, I'm a cat trying to get the mouse.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't want to approach the mouse like I'm a cat. So I wore like a costume, and he thought like I was just a big rat.
Like a sheep in wolf's clothing.
Yeah.
A wolf in sheep's clothing. You know what I'm trying to say. Yeah. It also, you had said, you're trying to teach, drop some gems for the ladies. You're right, because some guys, they won't say anything and they'll just bounce, and the woman's going to be like, what happened? What did I do wrong? Like we had, I guess, Prince Kells. Yeah. He says, my toxic traits is I'll just leave and I'll go away for 3 weeks and never come back.
Yeah.
3 days.
And we told, and I told him, if he articulates that, makes sense.
Yeah.
But if it's toxic, if you don't, because especially if she has a sense of abandonment issues, she's gonna just,
man, you're gonna just throw her in a hole.
Yeah, she's gonna be like, oh, we're on and off, on and off. Yeah. She's not gonna trust you,
right? Or anybody else after that.
Yeah, and even she gonna fight submission there.
Yeah.
Oh, you just gonna leave?
Yeah, because he's not consistent with either his words.
Yeah, and we're not saying Kells.
His action. No. Just in general.
Just in general. Mm-hmm. Final thoughts.
Oh, final thoughts. So no, I don't think that it's misogynistic of a man, to not want his wife or his girlfriend to dress however, and when I say however, I mean provocatively, whether he's with her or not. I'm a firm believer that, you can dress how you want to, just be respectful of yourself, respectful of your partner, respectful of the people that you are going out with. And with that respect comes that safety. Don't put yourself and others in jeopardy or in danger just for, 2-3 hours of getting attention. If that, if that's what it's leading to. Use your brain.
So good women always ask permission. And I believe that good women hold themselves accountable so they know how to dress. But if they're indecisive, they include their men. They are really about like partnership and togetherness. All these women that are faking and lying and saying, I want to partner and be together, they're lying because they're moving independent while trying to be in a relationship. It's not synonymous. Like, they don't realize that they're a contradiction there. Mm-hmm. Maybe I'm making them aware and they'll pick up on it. But especially when they're wearing, and I could speak for personal experience, because before I started implementing certain rules and I got into this lifestyle, I dated women that would be like, Poppy, King, Daddy, I'm getting my nails done this week. What would you think? And I was 19 years old.
You were like, I don't care.
No, I was quick. Oh, I like this color. Like, it was just natural. Like, I didn't say, oh, I didn't care.
Oh, that's good. Because a lot of guys that age wouldn't care.
Yeah, but remember, this goes back to this first segment of this episode of what I saw growing up. They would ask if they were indecisive, or maybe they thought it would be a bit provocative. Let me see what he thinks. And they would ask. That's why I say she's a good woman, because not only is she including her man in her decisions, showing respect of, oh, your authority, but she's saying that in a sense of, you know, I want his view, his opinion of me matters.
Mm-hmm.
That's why. So maybe she don't care about guys in the world, but his opinion of me matters. So if maybe I'm not a whore or whatever online, but I had a couple of pictures that showed a deep V cleavage. And he says, I went to your Instagram. I know we started dating. I don't like this picture. I don't like that picture. It makes me uncomfortable. And if I'm going to claim you and give you all these benefits as you're going to give me benefits as well, and we're going to build something, it's not going to sit well with me for my principles, my pride, my ego to claim you in any regard. I'm not going to feel comfortable bringing you around my people that I love and stuff of that nature if you do this, because I want to feel proud that you're my woman. So you got to act like it.
If she leaves the
If I
picture up, you mean?
articulated that way, she taking that shit down.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe she a feminist too. She's taking that shit down. Boom, 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 boom. What else you want?
Mm-hmm. It's all about, I think, how you communicate too.
So I think in that regard that sometimes it does take the man, but it really shouldn't. Like it should take
What
what
does that mean? It does take the man.
to take her to that level where she's changing that mentality, how she moves, because he's training her mind. But I feel like she should be doing that on her own. But like it seems like nowadays you need to do that because of so much trauma
Yeah.
and shit. And we can't just say, well, stay away from each other, because we all want to connect
Mm-hmm.
still. So in regards to that, like finding somebody who will keep that strong in regard to train your mind in a fashion that is respectful, because you are the biggest component to the representation of this relationship. They don't need to ever see me.
Yeah, you're the other
But the
half.
way you move, dress, or whatever will let them know what kind of man you belong to.
Mm-hmm. That's true.
You do that. That's how powerful you are. You move in ways the king can't on the chessboard. So if it's done in that regard, she's a good woman. But most of these women today are bad women. They're bad. They're whores.
Oh, Lord.
So it's very hard, and a lot of men know that, and that's why a lot of times when I see those type of women, I know off the bat she's single. And if she's not single and she's in a relationship, maybe I'm not shocked about that, but I know she's probably with a simp. There's no way she would be with a man like me who's doing that. And if she pretends to act like she's with a man like me, he's fucking faking there. 100% faking there. He just has a little bit of the character, but he's beta. He doesn't care. Doesn't care for her. He's using her for a superficial. Oh, she's the best pussy I got right now till I find another. I'm telling you the truth.
I know it's
So
true.
he's faking there, but she will be like, "Oh yeah, well my man's dominant like you, and he doesn't mind me doing this." And yeah, I do that.
Sorry.
I do that because it's not real. Yeah.
That's funny.
So I mean, it's
Good show.
it's subjective.
Mm.
Yeah, really, it's subjective, but depending on where you come from, what you saw, it could be negative. It could be the right thing to do. Like me, I'm looking at it as natural. You're probably looking at it as natural. Somebody else is looking at it as misogyny. You're disrespecting your woman.
And I think the people who think like that should ask themselves why do they think that way?
And you'll probably get answers like, if they are honest and bold, yeah, I have friends like this. Single mom.
Yeah.
That's what I saw. She was doing this. She brought mad guys around every week. Every dude, I thought it was going to be my daddy. I thought that was my daddy. No, next week. Oh, is that my daddy? You never told me about my daddy. Never showed me no pictures. Is that my daddy? Every week. So she saw how her mom dressed, and she didn't put no terms to it. It's what she's absorbing. It's now a computer. It's stuck in her brain. And they could change the software, updates. It don't matter. Still the same fucking hardware.
You know, it's wild, but back in the days when, like, I think I mentioned this in one of the earlier episodes. One of my aunts got divorced, which was unheard of anyway at that time. Never got with another guy, not that we knew. She never brought any man around,
Mm.
my cousins or anything like that. Never, you never heard of nothing like that. And I've heard, other people, my age when if their parents got divorced, the moms never, you never heard of that. It's
Mm.
wild. Anyway, I love these topics that we have.
Yep.
Crazy.
So ladies and gentlemen, you were tuned into one of the most raw, uncut, unapologetic, real, the
Thought provoking.
disruptors of the status quo, the most unheralded, but soon heralded, um,
Thought provoking.
conversation stimulating, um, after dark, the Discipline Therapy Podcast. Peace.
Peace.